Hey, everybody. Welcome back. We are Bad Moms in Business. Today, we have a fun episode, I think, anyways, because we're going to be reacting to Gary V quotes. If anybody knows Gary Vaynerchuk, he is one of my favorite people on the internet. I know he's not everybody's cup of tea. Okay, I get it. But he's like this motivational. He's an author. Oh, Bridgette, what? You don't like him?
I like him. Don't get me wrong. But
I'm nervous.
I'm gonna sound like Amanda. You ready for this?
Okay.
Get ready for this. Do.
I feel like the language is not necessary. Let's get our point across.
Okay.
Without the language.
So there's no doubt there is Gary V, say prior 2020. And there is a softerish Gary V recently, the last few years.
Okay.
So, right.
Danielle,
so I have different thoughts on this. One, he's been asked multiple times, why? Like, you make me not want to listen to you. Why are you like this? And his answer always is because I'm just real. I'm just going to be myself. This is how I talk in my normal life. So this is how I'm going to talk to you. So I love that. And second of all, like when somebody cusses that openly, I immediately trust them. So ridiculous. But I'm like, you get me, I get you. It's so ridiculous.
I mean, to Bridgette's point, do not listen to a podcast of his with little ones in the room because they, especially his older episodes, those bombs are flying. It is as normal as the word "the" to him.
Yes. Now, I think he is brilliant. Don't get me wrong. But when I first heard of this man and I first listened to some of his stuff, I was like, really, dude? Come on.
He really does it all. He's an entrepreneur. He's been running a wine business since like his early 20s. He's so skilled at social media and he knows everything, I feel like, about social media. Like he is able to predict certain platforms that are going to skyrocket, whether he has a personal interest in them or not. That's a different story.
Yep.
We don't need to get into that, but I'm excited to react to these because I'm a Gary V fan. I have, I think, every single book of his either on Audible or in an actual book.
As she does her beautiful displayed bookcase. So if you're just listening, go to our YouTube channel and check out this episode or any other episode of Danielle's beautiful bookcase. Yeah. All right. I feel like let's just dive right into some quotes. I have found 7, a nice blend of what he feels. But we don't have to review all 7 because Bridgette's face just said something holy heck.
I was like, 7? What?
no, we can just.
It's better than my list.
Yeah. So Danielle had 50. And so while we were waiting for you to hop on, we were just like, okay, well, let's just work off of my list a little bit.
We have time to just discuss them and not just me just saying Gary V quotes.
All right. So I'm going to come in with the very first one saying, quote, people are chasing cash, not happiness. When you chase money, you're going to lose. You're just going to. Even if you get the money, you're not going to be happy. End quote. Gary V.
I love this one. Love this one. This one was on my list as well. It's so true. I don't know about other countries. I know United States, we are a hustle, grind, make that money, work harder, all of this. That is our culture here. And we are, as a collective society, not very happy.
We're suffering.
Depression is at an all-time high. Medication for depression and anxiety is at an all-time high. Obviously, we're not doing something right.
Agreed.
Yeah.
And I feel like I just have to kind of throw out Danielle's new her new TikToks and IG reels.
Yeah.
Bridgette, have you not seen these? I feel like this speaks to her new adventure of I'm Danielle and I'm on a journey to find myself. It is. And
I'm doing this.
She's narrating these two and she sounds adorable. So please, Go find Danielle on IG and TikTok, because I think your few videos that you've posted so far consistently have really aligned with this quote. So I love it.
Yes.
That
spoke to my soul.
I always watch your Instagram stories, but I have missed your reels somehow. And I definitely have not seen you on TikTok. So I
started a new TikTok. A new algorithm is really weird, but I just wanted to start over fresh, new perspective. And I posted my very first TikTok ever.
I'm so proud. And you're really kind of branding yourself as like Danielle.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. It's just it. It's nothing else. It's
Danielle, and you're on a journey. I'm super proud. So congratulations.
Thank you. So yes, that does speak to my soul.
It does. So Bridgette, what are your thoughts on this quote?
I love it. I do love it, because there are so many, here we go, especially in our industry. There are so many people who will kill themselves or work with a difficult client or just be treated poorly because they know that at the end of the day, somewhat substantial paycheck is on the line. I've done it. So it does speak to me for sure.
I love it. And I agree with what both of you have said. I think it's no secret. I'm probably, of the three of us, the least concerned about money and fully about finding that joy, that happiness, because while yes, you have to work to make money to pay bills and whatnot, it is very important that you seek joy in all things you do. And when you do, you almost don't even feel like you're working.
I think so. This journey that I've been on, I'm calling it my happy, healthy, wealthy. And I feel like the wealthy part is probably going to be taken out of context a little bit, because what it means for me is just like financial freedom and living more intentionally when it comes to like stuff. So I can save for like retirement and things like that,
of course.
Which I feel like we don't do very often. Just in general, most people probably don't save for retirement, especially within our generation. We need to.
Yeah. And within our particular industry, I think that is one of our biggest flaws in this industry is we don't have enough leadership
100%
trying to guide, because so many in our industry don't retire. They just work until they die. And how sad is that? So like, let's seek out those things. But Danielle, what I love about how you've ordered them is it's happy, healthy, wealthy, because I think when you are happy with yourself, then it's easier to get healthy. It's easier to get wealthy. So I love that order that you put it in. And I just applaud you. I'm just super excited and I'm holding you accountable. I'll be like, where is that TikTok?
That's literally why I'm doing this, is because it's, I've talked about this forever and I've always kind of dabbled in the mental health stuff but I've never like committed to anything because I don't have that accountability and I'm not going to do it for myself. So
until now.
Yeah. So I love that quote. I think it's a good one. And it's something that we all probably need to have like written on a wall somewhere so we can remember that.
Agreed. So Bridgette, did you have a list that you want to go off of, or do you you go next?
All right. I like this one. I don't think I'm worth listening to or being paid attention to because I have funny quotes or inspiring 1-minute clips on Instagram. It's not what I'm saying. It's what I'm doing. I love that, because how many Instagram influencers do we see who like hold something and smile and they get paid for it? But there is so much behind the scenes work to being successful, even if you're an Instagram influencer. It's not as simple as posting a cute picture or posting a quick video, because we all know that quick videos are not quick. They take time. Hence the reason I don't post them.
I have spent more time on probably like a 1-minute video than I have spent like writing papers in college. Like It's ridiculous the amount of time that goes into these videos.
I promise you it will get easier. Promise you.
I'm so terrible at it. Amanda's like popping them off.
It's like boom,
right.
boom, boom. Oh, love story this morning. Oh, 30-second video real quick. No biggie.
Drives me crazy. And I'm over here like.
Well, you're also
for 2 hours.
I'm not. Right? Like sometimes the done is just better than perfect.
Yeah,
So
that's your go-to.
That's
And
my
I'm
go-to.
working on it.
Yeah.
Working on that. I struggle with that.
But I think that quote, what I like about that post is or that quote rather, there are so many imposters out there. Like we've talked about imposter syndrome, but that is when somebody who is qualified feels like an imposter. But there are so many people who are imposters out there that just talk and talk and talk without any kind of background to actually enforce or reinforce rather what they're saying out of his mouth. Where Gary Vee, where I respect him the most is he has done it. He's not afraid to, he used to work because he loved what he was doing. I think he works like 20 hours a day.
Yeah. He works a lot.
Crazy. And one thing I think he's really good is understanding human nature. And he can call it out. So I think that quote is fantastic, Bridgette. I love that.
I agree.
Just like I know.
So then I'll just read a couple of them off my list and we'll just kind of go around. Okay. So skills are cheap. Passion is priceless.
Yes.
I'll let you guys go first and then I'll tell why I picked it.
Oh gosh, go ahead, Bridgette.
Well, because I feel like even the most skillful person, I talk about this a lot between my kids, the two boys.
It's a secret.
So like karate, for example, Aaron has the heart for karate. He loves it so much. And is he the best kid on the floor? No. But I'm telling you what, he's one of the most passionate. And then there's the little one, the Jace, who has the skill,
the natural ability,
care less about it and phones it in. And I think that the person who is passionate about what they're doing wins every time. If you have the skill but not the heart, you're going to burn yourself out. You're not going to care. You're not going to deliver quality products. So I like that one.
And part of my response will be another quote that's so similar to this because the quote is, "You're not lazy. You just don't love what you do."
It's so good.
Right?
That's such a good one.
I think that aligns exactly with what you just said. Like when there's the love, the passion, you will win, but you have to keep at it. Like you can't just throw in the towel or think that it's not a viable thing because anything can be a thing these days. Anything.
Yeah.
I think what's really cool about the time that we're living in right now is almost anything you're passionate about, you can turn into some sort of business for yourself. There are more millionaires in the United States right now because of social media than there ever have been and maybe ever will be again. Like that's kind of insane to think about.
Yeah.
There's 17, 18-year-old millionaires because of TikTok and Instagram. So just find whatever your niche is. I'm a niche, not a niche. Whatever your niche is and kind of dive into it because I think you guys have both kind of mentioned this, but like when you aren't passionate about something, it's going to be read all over your face. Everybody's going to know that that's not your deal. Everyone. And you can try so hard to make it your deal, but it's not going to be there. And anybody can be skilled at anything if you just put your mind to it.
I wish I learned that a little bit earlier in life.
Me too.
And next week, we're kind of talking a little bit about something that aligns with this. But I feel like if somebody would have told me, like, Amanda, you are wildly capable to do anything that you choose to. I never thought I could be a doctor. Never thought I could be a lawyer. Never thought this, never thought that. And it wasn't like I wasn't pumped up with confidence from my mom. Like that, just those certain words were just never spoken to me. Now, partly we were still girls being raised in a generation of a man's world.
Yep.
So it's different, even though we're not so old that like we were beat down by it, but it still had lingering effects of that because I truly believe now at my age, if I would have chose to be a doctor, I could have been.
Well, I also feel like, maybe we'll save this conversation for another time, but I feel like our school systems kind of set some people up, not necessarily to fail, but like not to see their true potential.
I don't think the curriculum has changed enough to provide those opportunities. I think you're right. 100%.
Yep.
That's
a good one.
These are good. Okay. So I feel like I gave a quote within my answer. So Bridgette, you go next.
Okay. This one is so like, it spoke to me. Stop judging yourself. So many beating themselves up. Did you try as hard as you could? Did you have good intent? Good. You won.
Ooh, okay. I need you to screenshot me that, please. Like,
Okay.
send me that because anytime.
We're doing it right now because I'll forget.
Yes, please. Anytime Bridgette's hard on herself, Danielle, that's going to get shoved in her face.
That's a good one. That's a good one.
I thought you were like, send that to me so I can post it in the office. No, send that to me so I can shove it in your face.
I was so aggressive with it too. I apologize for the pure force that I just said that, but I meant that with so much of my soul.
I know.
It's true though. I mean, I would say we all probably have varying degrees of how hard we are on ourselves, and nobody's perfect, but that was a good one.
It is good. And go ahead.
Well, I think it goes two ways too. My dog's barking because she
agree.
just agrees. She agrees. Did you try as hard as you could? If the answer is yes, then fantastic. But if the answer is no, like try harder next time.
Go ahead.
Or maybe reassess.
Right.
Is that what you really want to be doing? It kind of ties back into the others, that we just talked about.
But one thing Gary Vee is really good at is like self-accountability.
Oh, yeah.
So if you did not try your best, don't make excuses, accept you didn't try your best and do differently next time. Like, don't dwell on it.
Yep.
Reset, that's what start over.
Exactly.
Yep. Yeah. And so that's a very, that's got a lot in that quote. Oh, it's coming your way. Probably later today. She's going to say something like, oh.
I just sent it to you.
Thank
maybe
you.
That'll be my next tattoo. Like,
I feel
just right across the chest. Do a neck tattoo. Just Gary Vee.
Stay off the neck.
My chin is big enough, though. It would hold all of
Stop
them.
Stop it. The neck seems very delicate. That feels like it would hurt.
It would.
I'm sure it would.
Oh. Yeah. Oh, okay. Danielle, what is your quote? I feel like every episode a tattoo gets brought up.
I mean, sounds like a good time for me.
Listen.
Okay, so time. The one asset none of us are going to get more of.
Oh.
And I feel that in my core. I'm very aware of that.
I go through waves of it. I feel it right now, and I hope to continue feeling that. When I get stuck in my anxiety, I need to be doing this, I should be doing this and this and this, I forget about that. I'm going to be honest. I just do. So in the mindset that I'm in right now, I very, very remember that. And I hope to continue that forever. But it's very easy to forget because you get stuck in the monotonous. So like you always hear that same quote with kids. The days are long, but the years are short. Right? You always hear that same quote. And it's like the days are so long sometimes. And so it's hard to remember, like, take a step back. You will miss this time.
But you don't have to like the time either.
For sure.
I think we're really good at, with each other, especially that if we are having a bad day in the season that we're in, wherever that is, we can really embrace that bad day for each other. While also we understand the hard, but given an encouraging word, like it won't last forever, but we acknowledge that today is not a good day for you or whatever. And so
whatever situation it is, that sucked.
Yes.
Yeah.
You're completely validated in feeling like that sucked.
Absolutely. And I think that's one thing that we do tremendously well with one another. And I'm just so grateful for that.
Me too.
So grateful. But time is a thief.
Yep.
And I waste so much of it, you guys. I waste so much time.
I'm going to hit back on that a little bit because you waste it doing stuff you enjoy. Because if you do, then I put that into self-help category.
Okay.
I think there is a limit, right? We all have to limit the amount of time we work, how much we eat, all of those things. We have to have limits on things. Lord knows I would eat until I puked.
Oh, we both
I just love food. But like, I feel like if you're wasting time on Facebook or Instagram, TikTok, whatever, like those are things for enjoyment for me too. So I feel like what someone considers a time waster, to them it is, but maybe to the person it's not. So go easy on yourself with that.
Yeah.
She's like, I don't buy that 100%, Amanda.
No, I do. But I think that there's a fine line between I'm doing this for self-care or for rest or for whatever. And my whole day is gone now because I stared at TikTok all day. And I mean, listen, I don't stare at TikTok all day, but there's definitely times where I'm scrolling.
Oh, it's a rabbit hole.
For sure. Like
I'm
scrolling and then I go, oh, that load of laundry that I was going to do is still sitting there. Or that business thing that I could have been doing that I've been wanting to do and I don't have time for, air quotes, could have been done 3 times over by now.
So I think I shared this with Danielle in our chat, the Amy Landino, one of her most recent ones, about wasting your time being busy. Like we've all seen the spin on busy. But she basically referred it as buyer's remorse, but basically almost like time remorse, where so many people say, okay, this calendar, this planner, this is going to save me all this time. It's going to do all these things for me. We set it up. We spend hours and hours setting it up only to not use it. So now we just wasted 15 hours or whatever on a product that we didn't use. And so her recommendation was no differently than you sleep on a purchase. You need to sleep
like mattress.
No, sleep on the purchase. Like you just wait, right? You pause. You should develop a mini version of whatever you're trying to think. And if you actually consistently hit it and don't stop, then you know that probably is a good like resource for your time.
So I have 2 thoughts on this. First thought, I am the master of busy work. Okay. Quote unquote, busy work. I can be busy all day, every day. Like give me a kid-free day and I will fill every square inch of it up with work. I promise you.
You will.
But it may not all be super productive, income earning activities. It's busy work. I love me some busy work. I just can't help it. My second thought on this is being intentional. So whether that be about the things that you're purchasing for your business, or maybe even, Bridgette, how you were saying that you were just sort of you were wasting your time, right? But like if you phrase it, if you go into whatever time it is intentionally and you're like, okay, this is me time. I don't care what I'm doing, but this is me time. And if you're scrolling on TikTok for an hour or 2 hours, then it's fine. Where if you kind of do it mindlessly, then you're like, oh, dang it. I should have been doing this. I should have been doing that. But if you go into it, like being intentional, being like, this is my me time. This is how I'm decompressing. I feel like just shifting your mindset on it makes it better, if that makes sense.
I agree. And one trick for me, because I have had a lot of people say like, I don't understand what you can do in a day. Right?
Truly.
Yep. All the time. All the time.
And so this is again, what it goes to boundaries. I know what is very normal for an 8-hour work shift if it was someone else, right? So if I complete what I feel like an average person would have did in 8 hours in 4 hours, I've got 4 free hours. I would work until I die, like doing work that isn't the funnest of my work, right? So
Amanda needs to write a book.
She does, truly.
She needs to write a children's book because we all think that would be like the most adorable thing ever. Yes. But I also think that Amanda needs to write some sort of businessy self-development, maybe multiple books, but I think one general book for sure, where it just covers everything from like boundaries to, imposter syndrome to time management to all of your business savvy. I'm just saying.
I'll even ghostwrite it. Like, you just tell me what to do and I'll ghostwrite it.
Yes, please. Because we all know Amanda is not the writer of this family. Words are a struggle for me.
I mean, I'm not good at writing either.
I so desperately want to be like Bridgette, where she can put the right like descriptions or, you know, extra flair to a description where I'm like, and then Danielle said, quote unquote.
That's kind of how I am too. I'm just direct and to the point. Yeah, I'm like,
agree.
This is what happened and this is how it ended. The end. A book, like a 400-page book for somebody else would be like maybe 2 or 3 paragraphs for me. Done. To the point.
Absolutely.
End it.
Absolutely.
But I told you guys, I used to write air quotes. Like we would be driving down the street and I would like write a book in my head, like Bridgette stared out of the window and saw the
no. Well, and but like, God. Okay, so I messaged you guys this thing that I saw this morning. It was the cutest thing. There was this couple in a car and they were so cute. They were probably almost 60, like, and she was sitting next to her husband in the middle of a truck. And it just was so cute. And it made my heart just like skip a beat. And so truly in my head, the whole way to the office, which is like, was only like another like 4 minutes, but I was in my head, like making up this love story. Right. But it was bullet points of a love story. It wasn't like what Bridgette just said. So like I can get the bullet points. I can't get the flavor.
So good. You guys just need to partner up and get this done.
We need to button it up. Button it up. Maybe. Right. Oh, is a book already been called that? Button it up.
I'm sure.
Yeah, but who cares? There's many books with the same name.
True, I could even do a chapter that being health, because how like perfect is buttoning it up. You can't button it up.
Ready? It's called Button It Up. 80 amazing vintage button projects.
It's time. It's time for a new one. I like Button It Up.
It's even longer than that. Button It Up. 80 amazing vintage button projects for necklaces, bracelets, embellishments, housewares, and more.
It's time for a revamp on that name. So I love it. Go for it.
Okay. Do we have one more we want to share? Or what do we
I do, because I feel like we haven't had an F-bomb one yet. And I just happen to have one up on my screen. So here we come.
Do it. Hold on. The real question is Amanda going to say it?
No, because I don't want us to get like, took down on the good old YouTube. I know. And so, I'll send you a voice message saying it, and that'll make
go. Good. Bridgette almost spit out her coffee.
I've heard you say it one time.
I was pretty upset, wasn't I?
Uh-huh.
I don't think I have.
It was silly. It was like a silly story, but like you were mad. No.
Maybe I was for strictly comic relief. I don't know.
I think it was strictly, yeah. Okay. Anyway.
Okay. So you're 100% in charge of your life. Stop effing complaining. Phone drop.
I love that one. I absolutely love that one. So I am a complainer.
Me too.
I'm sorry. I said it. I'm a complainer. I'm working on it. It's been part of my goals since like 2020. So I come up with goals every year, not resolutions, goals, and I write them every couple of days. I try to do it every day. Doesn't always work out. Complain less is almost always on my list. And it's still so hard. But yes, we are in charge of our life, right? Like that's crazy that we let everything else dictate our mood, dictate our day, dictate whatever. And then we complain about it when we are in control of us. And that kind of ties into what we're going to talk about a little bit next week too.
So Danielle, when you're complaining, is it typically about what somebody has done?
Yes, I'm typically complaining about the things outside of my control.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Okay. And Bridgette, for you?
Yeah, I would agree. I think that it's a lot of like, you guys are not going to believe what just happened. And then it's not like, well, I complain about my weight a lot too. And that's 100% in my control.
Yeah, I guess I complain quite a bit about things like that are definitely things that I can control as well. So it's probably a toss up. But the things that really get me deep down are things that I cannot control.
Yeah, I agree.
So one of my best tricks at trying to not complain.
Here we go. Write it down, everyone.
Is, and maybe this is a backhanded way of dealing with complaints about a person, but I'll say, well, I wouldn't want to be them.
It's true.
Like, I don't want to be them versus me.
Mm-hmm.
And so I'm grateful that I don't have that characteristic that caused me to not think a happy thought about that person. Whether
really, but there's a flip side to that too, I guess. Sorry to cut you off, but you do always see like the good in people, for sure.
You're a very positive person.
For sure. But I also think that it has burned you a time or two.
Ooh.
I would say honestly, Amanda, though, the ratio, you definitely still come out on top. But the time
100%.
But the times you have been burnt by people because you saw the good in them, I just wanted to strangle you. We were like, come on, Amanda.
So you guys,
true.
If you guys are listening to this, you won't have any idea of any of the circumstances in which Bridgette and Danielle are agreeing to.
No idea.
No.
But I have to absolutely agree with them, because from the outside looking in on some of these things, these adventures I would go on based on my ability to try and see the good in somebody was purely ignorant. And I can look back and go, well, I tried.
It's true. Do you feel like you've sort of learned from those experiences to where maybe that wouldn't happen now? Or are you just like, this is who I am?
No, a recent change to my professional life indicated
That's really true.
I was still making errors.
It's really true. Do you think any of these people would be listening to us by chance? I'm curious. Maybe even back a little bit farther.
No.
And honestly, I don't care.
I don't either, because, and I will say this, at the end of the day, I would never have changed those missteps in my professional career or even just my personal life, because I learned so much. And I always do feel like you do learn more from failing if you choose to. Like, if you really self-assess, like, what went wrong, where was my responsibility, and what went wrong.
Yeah.
And I learned from them. One thing I will continue to do is always see the good in people. And that will probably continue to allow me to get burnt. What I've gotten better at is having people I trust around me that I can actually listen to a little bit more clearly and pause before I maybe go down a bad path.
Yeah.
You know, and you might, like you might give me something that I don't want to hear, but I do listen. And that's helped. So I've matured in that way.
Yeah. I mean, stuff I don't want to hear all the time. So it's
fair. We've all been burned and stuff. So, I mean, you're definitely not alone in that. I think whether you are a more optimistic, positive person, or even like a more pessimistic, cynical person, you're still probably going to get burned at some point. So that's probably pretty important to have those close people to you, regardless, give you that honest feedback. But you have to be honest with them, right? Like, you have to be honest with them about what's going on. You can't try to sugarcoat it and hide things, because then they're not going to even get the full truth.
Absolutely. And I will go to my grave rather being the burned person than the burner.
That's a good one.
I don't like burning people. That doesn't mean I haven't accidentally hurt people's feelings.
For sure.
Sorry, I'm just coughing all over you guys.
It's okay. Dogs barking, coughing, coffee. Hey. This is what we do.
It's been a day. It's been a day.
Well, this is fun. I hope our listeners took some fun nuggets and were encouraged.
And we will link to...
That's going to be the name of this episode, Fun Nuggets.
Ooh, I like it. We'll link to Gary Vee everywhere. We highly recommend you guys go check him out. He has some amazing books. Crush and Crushing It are two of my favorite books of all time. I have not read 12 and a half yet, but I do have it. I'm super pumped to get into that at some point. He's a good one.
Yes.
He's not perfect, and he's not for everybody. So take that with a grain of salt.
Right. And you have to be ready to be able to digest his content.
Ooh, yeah. You got to be ready for his message.
Because he'll hurt your feelings if you're not ready.
Oh, yeah.
And that's when you won't like him. You won't like him.
Yeah.
But
I
once
just saw an interview where somebody was like, oh, I thought you were complete, whatever, all of these profanity words. And they were like, but for some reason I kept listening to you. And then all of a sudden one day it clicked.
Yep.
And he's like, see, that's kind of how he is. He comes off really abrasive and harsh until you are ready to hear it.
to absorb the messages that, and he says the same things over and over.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It's not revolutionary.
Nope.
No, that's one of his quotes. Like, he hasn't said anything revolutionary. He just says it in a way that gets your attention.
Yep.
I'm paraphrasing.
Aligned with his branding.
Yep. 100%.
So good.
Cool.
Well, this was fun. Very fun, girls.
I think so.
All right. Well, thank you for joining us, and come back next week for another episode of Bad Moms in Business. We'll see you then.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.
Bye, guys.